So, seems that we meet again. We upped it by 0.6%. However, these are still rookie numbers. We gotta up those numbers. Subscribe to the channel. Yo, what's up guys, Seiishizo here. And you thought this was the limit? No. You already saw the thumbnail. You clicked because of the thumbnail. No, your ass is not clickbaited on this channel. We actually improved this time. We actually improved the time once again. And this is insanely fast. It's a bit RNG related, so it's not always it's not the most consistent thing like the Icarus. The other Icaru team is pretty consistent. This one is a little bit less consistent for always getting the same time. However, this thing is just insanely fast when things go right. Also, if things go wrong, it doesn't really matter too much because you still, like in this case, you have a lot of like non-team ups from Icarus, and it still works. So what is this team? What is this team? Let's talk over it from the start. So I'm using the exact same Icarus as I'm using in the MB12 video. I'm not using the same runes on Astar because this Astar is of course Rage, where you in the previous video, which will be linked in the description down below, the MB12 one, there I used a Vampire Astar, and this is a Rage Astar. Someone was asking me, like, because I said, like, for previous video, like, these are different Icarus than I used in the Icarus for DB12. Yes, no, they're just different runes. So these runes are more speedy heavy for the MB12. Also, these are the exact same runes that I use for the MB12. So I don't have to switch anything on the Icarus right now to use the same Icarus for this team as well. Only thing I do have to switch is a star runes to a rage set. So you could make a second star, or you just switch runes like I do. Because I have too much mana, I just switch runes. So why is this team that much faster? Astar just does so much more damage than just look at that. 3 turns, wave 1. What more do you have to explain? This can kill in 3 turns as well. 3 turns, wave 2. Easy. This can technically kill in 4 turns, but it doesn't happen too often. So often it's 5 or 6. This is a little bit longer right now. And then this one, okay, that doesn't happen too often that she's lower HP and starts with an S2. But still, we still manage to clear the whole thing. It kind of depends on the team-ups, because preferably you want to have team-ups that it cycles, that the first Icaru ends up being taken often enough that the next Icaru is actually gonna, or that the first Icaru is gonna team up again. That sometimes doesn't happen. Let's just keep this. So this is like 39 seconds average, 32 second was fastest. It's pretty common to have like 38, 39 second average. I've seen some like go up like 40, 41, which is still a fast average than my, because this exact team, if I remove the Astar, is about 43, 44 second. So it's at least a 2 or 3 second up from that. The fastest average of 10 I've seen was 36 seconds, which is just when team-ups go really right most of the time. So it's a little more like up and down, but I think true average will be like 38, 38 and a half, maybe 39. But also this team is, if you have really good rage runes, and you don't have that good like overall sets for the Icarus, this team is probably better than the really good rage rune. I do have to say, however, like most people say, like, I don't have the runes to make this. Like, yeah, for this team it's probably even worse because this team is super difficult to make. I'm just showcasing the fastest team possible. That's what I mostly do. It's kind of in a guide setting, but it's also showcasing the fastest shit possible out there, which I like to do in the most cases. So that's for this team. Gonna showcase the rune. This team is pretty heavy on fight runes. So I got 6 sets of fight, I got 3 sets of determination, and I got 1 set of accuracy, which is quite a lot. That is in total 10 sets. So that's 10 sets. That's possible max would be 15 sets. So I got like 2/3 of the way of all like team building sets. Astar doesn't have any. Vert has 3. I think one Icaru has 3, one Icaru has 2, and the other Icaru also has 2. If I had better fight runes for like slot 2, 4, 6 on defense, I would make more. fight rune based like Icarus, but I don't have the runes to do so, so this is kind of what I came up with. But as you can see, like this team, it doesn't feel, even if the dragon takes a turn, I survive one turn, second turn, it always dies. Like I never seen a single fill on this, and I've been running this like all day. Do I get like the 31 second that often? No, not that much. Like you need kind of like perfect team ups, because also preferably what you want to have is one team up with the Vert and 3 Icarus, and then all of the other team ups you want Astar plus 3 Icarus, so they rotate their skills the best. And which is the slowest thing that can happen is that after one rotation, all Icarus start doing as one. But even when that happens, it is not too bad. You still like even here, Astar's gonna move. Mostly it gets like the invisibility buff, but even with the invisibility buff, like I've seen runs like sometimes take up to like 50-ish seconds because the non-water units die. But still, like this is a 41-second run, and it looked pretty derpy, right? It looked really pretty derpy. If you can get 41 seconds with just the Vert plus Icarus, you're at a pretty fast run already. Like there's not too many people like that can get that kind of stats. So I'm not sure like how good this will work for people with like lower rune quality. But if you have like, the thing is you just need your Icaru runes, preferably with as much fight and that kind of stuff as possible. You don't have to focus any damage on the Icaru, that kind of stuff. It's just literally team up runes. And then you just need the most heavy set on your Astar you can find. And then preferably on your Vert some team up runes that also have like some decent stats. So yes, this is difficult to make. Yes, it's gonna improve your time by a lot, and it only takes one really good rage set. So therefore, I think some people might be able to get this team because it's just one rage set, and then it's just a whole bunch of like team up runes, and that's it. So after this run, gonna go over the runes. Also, what you preferably, like what I said before, is like you want as much team ups like cycling at the boss. Boss stage can be can be somewhat slower, but if you have a really good Astar, like even better than mine, which is totally possible, then you can just man, this thing is gonna be so fast. I think you could go like sub 30 seconds even. I wouldn't be surprised. I also tried it with removing the Vert for a Rogue, or removing the Star for a Rogue. Removing the Rogue for the Vert, or removing the Vert for Rogue, technically gives a possibility of a faster run, but it's like really high RNG related, so I don't really recommend that. Also, the Vert is just there for it's a good leader skill. It can fit more team up runes, and team up runes I just mean like determination, fight, accuracy, that kind of stuff. And it just gives like a whole bunch more safety, because with the Rogue I actually failed a few times. But this, it doesn't feel. You do need some more speeds on your team, because with the other team, you can be like really low speeds. On this one, you need some higher speeds to just get like a safety precaution that you don't always like team up with Vert, so you actually need to outspeed the units by itself. So therefore, I went some more speed. I actually kept the same speeds pretty much as I kept for the DB12, so I can use them in both situations. So let's end it on this note. Let's sell the runes real quick. What's the average time that we got? Probably around like 38, 39, 40. It's a little bit slower this time. We didn't get like a really fast run, but 38, 39 is pretty average from what I've seen from this. Also, like the fastest I've seen was like 36, which is pretty crazy. So my Vert is double fight with accuracy. Accuracy is pretty useful because I noticed that my Icarus were not that high on Aki, so I kind of needed an Aki slot in there. Preferably, like I had another fight set in here, but it's also a pretty decent set with like the crit rate and stuff. So crit damage slot 4, a whole bunch of crit rates on the side. This is a pretty good set for a fight. Then we have Astar, which is on a pretty good set as well. Got this rune the other day, which is a 40 on Gem, which can be higher on the grind, but yeah, these are pretty much like some of my main Lucian runes. Well, pretty much all of my main Lucian runes. And then we got this bad boy, which always helps out a lot. And then damage, like dealing on fire, also helps out quite some. And then we have the Icarus, which are exactly the same Icarus as I used for the DB12 video. So I don't have to switch anything for the Icarus if I want to switch like between DB12 and DB12. So I can keep the same Icarus, which is pretty nice. Astar, like normally Astar is I think I stored the set somewhere. That's what I mostly do. This is why you have really too much mana. You just store the set on somewhere else. Where did I store it? I think on you. Yeah, this is Astar's normal set. So yeah, that's what you do when you have too much mana. You just store this set and you just switch it around. So you waste even more mana but it makes it easier to find the set again. But yeah, I've been loving this team. This team is like, it's also like really easy to try out. Like if you have an Astar, you just like during a free rune removal, you just throw a set like this on it, and you can use exactly the same thing as you've already been running. You just have to check if it like deals enough damage. So if you already have like a triple Icaru team, also I do recommend for this one to just go all transmog on the Icaru. You could still like potentially, if your Icaru is like one Icaru is stronger than the other, you could like non-transmog it. But in this team, Icarus are not really the damage dealers. Like that's the difference between the normal Icaru team and this Icaru team. Astar is the damage dealer. Astar is the star of this team. And the Icarus are not necessarily doing high damage. So they have a decent amount of damage, they have a decent amount of like base attack and that kind of stuff. But they're not the main damage dealer. They're not the main damage focused unit. So also, if you don't have skill ups, for example, or I do think you need skill ups probably to deal enough damage to kill the boss. That's the thing, like the boss is gonna take a turn. You're gonna have to survive that with all of your units. And you have to kill it before it takes a second turn. So therefore, you probably do need like some damage. But I encourage you, if you have the mana for it, or like a free rune removal is about like 2 weeks from now, check it out, see if you can run this. Maybe just get like a faster clear time if you care about that. Yeah, just try it out. It's actually, this is where it goes, where none of them actually do a team up in their second attack, and still like pretty easily works out, like not a big deal, because they go one rotation without team ups and then the third rotation with team ups again, and then you just clear it. It just takes a bit longer. Also, someone was asking in the comments, like, what dungeons do you actually run, or do you use the teams you run the dungeons with, and that kind of stuff, which is an interesting question. Like, because there's a lot of like content creators that just make teams for content, right? So they try out this team for content, this unit is buffed for content, that kind of stuff, and they just do things for content, which in my case is not necessarily true. Everything I showcase as a team, I'm running at that current moment. I'm not gonna show a team that's like more free to play to run that much, or like then I would mention it, and then I would also mention like, hey, I'm not using this team, I'm using another team. Every team that I showcase is what I'm actually running. So my last video on any dungeon is 99% of the time gonna be the team that I'm gonna use at the dungeon, unless I have a team that's working better and I didn't make a video on it yet. So that's just to clarify for someone that was like asking like, hey, are you actually just making these for content, and then your team is not that consistent and you just switch to a saver team or whatnot, or you switch to like a Martina team for DB12 or whatnot. No, these teams are actually way faster, so I'm using these teams. Dragon's team is actually ranked 33 right now, and it's surrounded by people using Lucians in like, they just go like for a fast time, Lucian blah blah. So that's where you can see like how fast this Dragon's team actually is. It's pretty crazy. Oh, you can also do it with a light Chun-Li, apparently. Interesting, don't have that one. But yeah, as you can see, even with Astar is outspeeding like the light Chun-Li, because I'm pretty sure Seiishizo has like same or even better runes than I. So that's what I would also like to see, rather than these fastest times. I think these fastest times, especially with auto farm, they don't really make any sense, right? What I would like to see is fastest average of 10. That's so much more important right now than like a leaderboard. Someone's like clearing a dungeon in 20 seconds and it works like one every like 30 or 40 times. It really doesn't make sense to me. I want to see, like, if you want to put like PvE leaderboards, I think Counter should switch to PvE leaderboards for the best average of 10. And sure, that can like fluctuate between teams, and sometimes you get better than others, and some teams are super consistent, some teams are not. Like if the solution is like amputation magicking or not, blah blah, that can still change a lot. But like we're constantly running this, and I think that is a way better comparison of like, hey, how good is my team that you're actually farming with? Because You want a leaderboard in PvE of your farming teams, not a team that just one-shots it once and then never works again. But that's my take on it. Let me know in the comments what you think about it. And video long enough, I think. And also let me know if you tried to make this team, if it actually worked out for you with worse runes. I didn't really try to make this work with like worse runes, but it's more a showcase rather than an actual guide. This is just showing what I have. So let me know in the comments if you could replicate this team. And Seiishizo here, and peace out. See you in the next one.